Hi, this is Alimayo Arango of ArangoDigitalProduction.com, and today I want to show you how to do movie credits easily inside of Gimp 2.8 and Blender 2.70a. So let's get started. Okay, here we are in Gimp 2.8. Gimp is a open source program that you can download for free off of gimp.org. When I make videos, I usually do 1280 by 720p. So if you're going to do credits for a similar resolution like mine, you would go to File, New, change this width to 1280, and I'm going to change the height to 6500. Hit OK. And now you can see right here we have this right here is going to be basically our credits. Alright, so now I'm actually going to make a new layer because I want the credits to be black. So I'm going to just click a foreground color here and it'll put black there. Okay, now I'm just going to hold Control on my keyboard and roll my mouse to zoom in. And I'm just pushing up this, getting up to the top so I can get ready to put my text in here. Okay, now we're just going to click our text tool right here. We'll click here. We're going to call this Arango Digital Production, the movie. And you're probably wondering, you see this right here? One of the things I want to say, GIMP is a great program. I actually have Photoshop here. I choose to use GIMP over Photoshop. However, the GIMP text tool does need some work. I find it easier to just text it. GIMP automatically types in very small. I usually just type it in small, and then I click, holding the text select, highlight it, and then just increase the size. For me, GIMP does everything well. The only real thing I have with it is the text does annoy me. But anyway, okay, with this selected, we're going to go to our font. We're going to click here. We're going to go to Bebe's font. I heard this on Blender Guru. Ever since then, I've liked it. Probably because I like his tutorial. So I don't know. He may be biased towards his text. We'll make this a little bit bigger. Should I move to here? Okay, well actually I'm actually going to grab this movie text right here, hit Control X to cut it. I'm going to go to File, New, open up a separate file, and it just copied the settings from this file over here. I'm going to hold Control and zoom in. I'm going to paste this text in. I just have the text tool selected, so I'm going to hit Control V. And then with that movie text in there, what I'm going to do is, even though you can't see it because it's white, I'm going to highlight it. I'm then going to go to Filters. I'm going to go down to Alpha to Logo, and I'm going to click Glossy. These settings pop up. Those are the settings that go along with them. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm just going to take these out here and with this these two background settings off, I'm going to go to Layer, New from Visible. Take the visible that was just created right here. I'm going to hit Edit, Copy, go back in here, and then I'm going to hit Edit, Paste into, and then click right here just so it's locked in. So now I'm going to take my move tool. I'm going to go down, make sure that this tool options is set for move the active layer. It's going to be frustrating if you don't have it for move the active layer. I'm just going to push that down right there, and we're just going to go through and make up some names quickly to put in here. Okay, I'm actually just going to paste some names in here, so you can click the text tool right here. You can just click and drag to form a box. Make sure you're clicked inside of the text tool, and you can just hit Control V. And now with these names I pasted in here, you can just grab, or actually, you know, I think you can hit Control A. Yep, easier to grab all of them. I'm going to change this from 18 to 60. Then I'm just going to go to my move select and move them to the center, or towards the center. And then I'm just going to hold Control, roll my mouse wheel back, go back to the text select, and make sure that it's long enough for all the names to go in there. And it is. I'm going to take my move tool, readjust the names again, make sure they're fitting in there. Okay, and with the names in there and with them all fitting, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to File, Export, go to my desktop, make sure I know where I am exporting this out to. Let's see, tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to export it out to here. I'll just export it as a PNG. Doesn't matter if I have saved background color or not. So I'm going to hit export. Oh, and by the way, these names where I typed them out at, I actually typed them out in OpenOffice and just copied and pasted them from OpenOffice, and copied them from OpenOffice and pasted them into here. Okay, with our basic credits made up, we can go over to Blender 2.70a. Okay, here we are in Blender 2.70a. If this is your first time in Blender, you can go to File, User Preferences, go to Input, choose Select with Left. Blender's default select is with right click, and this may confuse you if you're coming from Adobe programs or other 3D programs, or Gimp, which is the program we just came from. Also, while you are in here, you can click add-ons, and or you want to click add-ons, I should say. You need to click add-ons actually for this tutorial. So you're just going to scroll down, and you're going to go right to here where it says import or import export, import images as planes. Make sure you have a check mark right here because you're going to need it for this tutorial. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're just going to select this cube here. You're going to hit X. Bring up the delete menu, click delete. You're going to select this camera right here. You're going to hit Alt, hold Alt, and hit G. And what that does is that resets the location. Long story short, it makes the camera go right to the center. You're now, with the camera still selected, you're going to hold Alt R, and that rotates the direction, makes the camera point down. By the way, even besides the credits here, this is a standard way of setting up for like 2D animation. You can just remember that, Alt G, Alt R. Anyway, with the camera still selected, if you hold Control, grab the manipulator and pull up, it'll move one Blender unit up. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to hit, we're going to go to File, Import, Images as Planes. We're then going to find where we put our images at. Okay, here it is. If you click this button right here, it'll actually let you see what you're looking at. So there's the credits right there. You click this, but before clicking import images planes over here, you want to go down. This image has to be set up first, and what you want to do is click shadeless, put a check mark next to shadeless right here, check mark next to use alpha, put a check mark and or check Z transparency, receive transparent shadows, and change this to DPI. And now you are ready to bring this in. So now you'll just go to import images as planes. When it comes in extremely small. You typically have a hard time seeing it, but it's there. Matter of fact, Blender's menu that lets you see what's coming in is right over here, and you can see right there, there's the credits. Okay, now what you're going to do is, you see this little, it looks like a triangle to me, that's how I describe it. This thing right here, you're going to click, left click, hold, and drag to the side. With that drag to the side, with your mouse pointer over this window, you're going to hit 0 in your number on your number keyboard. This puts you into camera view. Okay, in camera view here, you're gonna, or with this in camera view here, you're gonna go right here, you're gonna change this to texture. Okay, now, and you can see you're still selected with your credits that you you know, since you brought it in. If by some chance you got off selected, like if I hit A, it'll deselect it, you can just click right here where it says credits, and it's selected again. And with it selected, you're just going to hit S to scale, and you're just going to pull, and you're pulling this all the way up, yep, until it fits that camera view. So this is going to basically sit there, and what we're going to do is we're going to rearrange the camera to make this credits work right. So actually what you can do with the credit selected, you can see it's selected here, if you hit this pointer right here, you won't be able to grab the credits and mess them up, which sometimes is useful. Now what you're going to do is you're going to select the camera, and you're just going to take the camera. So basically the reason why we split the view, here you can see what the camera sees, which is excellent. Here you can see what this just makes it easy for you to be able to control what's going on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just get this right to the top here. And if you wanted the credits to come on where it was black, you would just have made, you know, put the text in Gimp a little bit further down. Okay, and with it, you know, moved into position here. Let's change the end frames to 300. Just by left clicking down right where you saw me click and just putting in 300. Then I'm just left clicking in the 3D viewport port to lock it in, and with the camera still selected, what we're going to do is have my you know, mouse over the 3D viewport. It could be here or here, it would work. But if you have the mouse over here or here, basically in Blender will do different things depending on where the mouse is at. So if you're going through this tutorial and you have the mouse here and you try to put in a keyframe, I don't think I'm pretty sure it won't work. It has to be right here. So anyway, the mouse here or here, they're both basically just copies of the viewport. Again, this is just for the camera view, this is just to move it. So anyway, you're going to hit I to you're going to hit I and then put in location rotation, and you're putting a keyframe for location rotation for this. Now you're going to come to the timeline right here. You're going to roll your mouse wheel back. You're going to take this. I'm holding the right mouse button and I'm dragging all the way to 300. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, first you move the timeline, then you move the object to animate. So now with the camera still being selected, I'm going to just click and drag down until we get right past our last credits right here. And then I'm going to hit again I to insert a keyframe. I'm going to put location rotation scale. And now I'm just going to hold my right mouse button and click and drag, and this basically it's called scrubbing the timeline, so you can see it moving up. Now you'll see something interesting when I hit play here. See how slow it's going? You see it starting to speed up. It's getting faster, 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 faster. You see that? And it's because Blender, it's actually a good thing that Blender does most of the time. What Blender does is it has it starts you off slow. It starts an animation off slow automatically, and then it starts to move it faster and faster and faster. Then I believe it slows it down right before it hits the end, which most of the time is pretty cool for motion, because physics, you know, that's typically how things move. However, in this case, we want this to move in a constant rate. So let me show you how to do that now. Okay, with the camera selected, what we're going to do is we're going to click right here, and we're going to go right to where it says dope sheet. And basically in Blender, each object has its own keyframe. So because we're selected on the camera, we can see the keyframes here. All right, so what we're going to do is with these keyframes here selected, we're going to go to key. We're going to go to interpolation mode, and we're going to change this to linear. We're going to do the same thing here. Click here, go to key, change this to linear. And now basically what we should see is that when we hit play, it should be moving at a constant speed instead of, you know, slowing up and slowing down. So suppose you sit there and you're like, look, it's moving too fast to read the names. That's a pretty easy fix, and the way that you can fix that is what you can do is let's change this to, we'll say we change this to 500. All right, so now we'll go to the, with our mouse over the timeline. I'm just rolling the mouse wheel back. So now we see it ends at 500. So now what we can do with this dope sheet, and basically in Blender, each window can be whatever you want it to be. So here's a regular window, here's a dope sheet window, but the dope sheet is an excellent thing for controlling animation. When you first look at it, it looks kind of complicated, but it's really awesome, and the ease it allows you, and I'll give you an example of what I mean by ease. So here is the timeline. It's suppose we want it to go, we're like, look, it looks too long. I mean, it looks too short. It's not enough time for people to read the names. So what we'll do is we'll just click this right here. I'm holding my middle mouse button and panning to the side so I can see where 300's at. I'm now rolling my mouse wheel in so you can see both keyframes. So here's 500 right there. With this selected, we just hit G just like we would in regular Blender. You hit G, you can grab things. We just grab this, and you can see right on the bottom of the timeline there that keyframe moving, and we move this right over to 500. I'm trying to get it right. That's close. Okay, there we go. So we move it right there. So now with it at 300, we just adjusted the timing on the animation. We click back, and now we have it going, slower. I guess that's, 500 looks like a pretty decent frame rate for it to go. Okay, so we have the credits in, we have the camera set up. Now what we have to do is render this out. So I'm just going to grab here in the Blender. You can see that little double arrows. You can just grab and pull things over. Blender is unbelievably versatile, but I'm just adjusting these panels just by left clicking and holding. Okay, you want to go to here, this render button. See this image editor? I'm going to change this to new window. The reason for doing this is typically if you render an image, it takes up this whole panel right here, and there's an X button to get out of the render. So typically if you hit the X button trying to get out of the render, sometimes you'll turn off Blender. When you have a new window pops up, so you can click the X button. It doesn't automatically shut off your Blender program. Anyway, I render out at 1280 by 720 usually. So see this render preset, you can just click here, go to HDTV 720. We'll keep it here at 24 frames per second, which is standard movie frames per second. We're now going to go down to you want to go down to where it says PNG. You want to change this to H.264. There's other ways to do this. This is just my suggestion. You're then going to go to encoding. You're going to turn this AVI, change this to MPEG-4, and then if you have any music, then you would just click where it says audio codecs. You would change this to MP3. And now you just want to click here. This is going to tell you where your credits is going to go. So I'll just make a folder here. Credits, video output. And double click in here, click accept. And you could also put a name in there if you wanted. But anyway, it should go here now for the credits. And now with all that done, a quick check, 2.64, MPEG-4, MP3. There's no music, but if we had it, then you just click animation, and there you go. Okay guys, that's it for the tutorial. I had seen a bunch of tutorials on doing the opening title for a movie, but I hadn't seen too many on credits. I like this technique. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to do. There's also a lot of cool things you could add to it. You could have the names fade in. You could put little 3D graphics and have them spinning. There's all kinds of additions that could be made to make these credits even cooler. But this method's simple to the point. For you guys that like these videos and reshare them, thank you. I appreciate it. To you guys who are new to this channel, if you like this video and you would like to see more, please subscribe, and thank you for viewing.